Hey guys, it's Brevort, and today the 25w31a snapshot of Minecraft, it is now in the top right instead of the top left. I don't know why I pointed as if you can see it, but it is up here now instead of in the other corner. So that's new. There's a bunch of new features in this snapshot. This is for 1.21.9. No, I am not joking. It is not still not going to 122, but anyways, we've got the shelf here. We've got copper armor and copper tools. As you can see, this is not a joke. This is a real thing. I'm sure by now you probably already know that because it's been on Bedrock for like a month now and is only just now coming to Java for some reason. But anyways, let's get started. So first things first, we have the shelf. So normally you can put items on it. It's kind of like an item frame, but you can put 3 items instead of 1. However, if you power it, you can switch out 3 hotbar slots at once. It's always the rightmost 3. However, if you put 3 shelves together and you do the same thing and you power all of them, we can switch out our entire hotbar all in one swipe, which is pretty cool. Now, I would say that I would like to be able to disable individual slots. That would be a really cool thing. However, that is not the case as of right now. And the shelf is crafted with 3 stripped logs. You can't use regular logs, and you might be able to use stripped wood, but I haven't tried it yet. No, you can't use stripped wood. It has to be stripped logs. Okay, interesting. So we also have copper armor and tools now, and copper is a new tier between stone and iron, and I honestly really like this. A lot of people are like, I'm never going to use this, but to be honest, how often since 1.18 do you spawn into a world, you get stone tools, and then you get stuck, and you can't find any iron? There's copper everywhere. I didn't even plan this, but there's copper literally everywhere. If I go just a little bit into caves, okay, well, all these are flooded, but if we go into this cave, which is not flooded, we see iron. Of course. No, but normally you see tons of copper. If I give myself night vision, you see copper there, coal, copper, and a little bit of iron. Actually, there's a decent amount of iron here. Iron, copper. And for me, I don't know if it's just me. Oh, we are actually way deeper than I thought. But if you go right under the surface, most of the caves tends to not go very deep. I've noticed that since 1.18. There's been I don't even know if it's really a bug or if it's just the way caves are now. They don't go very deep, and a lot of times they'll just flood. So it is really hard to find iron now, and it used to be really, really abundant on the surface. So I really like copper being a tier of armor, and I will be using it personally. So how does the copper compare to stone and iron? Well, it's a little bit faster with mining speed than stone, but it's not as fast as iron. It's also more enchantable than stone, but less enchantable than iron. However, when it comes to swords, they have the exact same stats. Both DPS and or attack speed and AD are exactly the same, so there's really no reason to ever craft a copper sword, because stone is just so much more abundant than copper, and you can just easily get a stone sword a minute into playing the game, whereas a copper sword you can get pretty easily too, but why waste copper on that? There's really no reason to. It does have higher durability though. Actually, how much higher is it? I'm not entirely certain. So the copper sword has 190 durability and the stone sword has 131. So even then, it's only about 1.5 times the durability. So let's compare the armor. If I go ahead and swap out a full set, oh, it actually does have a significant increase. So which pieces increase? So the boots give you more, the leggings give you more, the chest plate gives you more, and the helmet actually doesn't give you more. So it's 2 points for both. The copper boots have less than the helmet. So you're probably wondering how fast the copper tools actually are, and here is stone, here is copper. I don't notice a difference. I do believe there is a difference. Okay, there I notice there's a difference. So yeah, it's a little bit better than stone, but it's not like drastic. And honestly, I think it's worth upgrading to if you can't find iron. Okay, so let's see how copper armor holds up. This is a full set of copper armor. How does it hold up against mobs? Oh, So the thing is, it should be about the same as iron, regardless of armor points. Honestly... Oh, you know what? I'm on normal. I almost never play on normal. So let's get blown up. Okay. It did do significant damage. However, most damage doesn't actually matter the armor points. What's more important, I'm guessing... Oh my goodness, 2.5 hearts. Wow. I thought he was doing like half a heart to 1 heart. I have no idea where that was. Yeah. So the armor actually doesn't matter as much as armor toughness does, and neither iron nor copper have armor toughness. So I think for most attacks like skeletons and creepers, it won't really matter which one you use too much because neither of them have armor toughness. And once you get to diamond, people say, oh, it's only like 2.5 more armor points, but you're also missing out on the fact that it's 8 more armor toughness points, and armor toughness is really what matters because it protects you against larger attacks, whereas armor only protects against small attacks like spiders and zombies. So another new feature in this snapshot is when you do this, there's actually a loading bar, a progress bar for loading a new world in, which is pretty cool. And it's not just new worlds, even loading an existing world will show it. It just is so quick that you probably won't see it unless you have a ton of stuff near you, or maybe like your render distance is massive for whatever reason. So another thing you can do is if you press F3 and 5, you can actually customize your debug screen. So for me, I like to use the biome builder and the noise router a lot. So you can actually turn that on with chunk generation stats here. And I don't know why, but it disables like your coordinates and stuff when you do that. I don't like that being... Oh, it goes to this side. Okay, so it's not disabling it, it's just moving it to this side, which is super weird. I don't like that. But anyways, you can see here is the noise router and the biome builder. I'm definitely going to play with that on because those are very helpful for finding biomes. For example, I know if I find where it says T0, it'll be a frozen biome. So I know over here, we'll go into the T0 territory once we cross over into the frozen ocean. So you can see it changed to T0 here. Alright, so I promise I wasn't holding this off on purpose. I genuinely just forgot that this is even added in this snapshot. So, can you make... Oh, you can make the copper golems now. Let's go. So, you can do it this way. What you doing? There's nothing in there, silly. Okay, so do they keep their state whether or not they have waxed copper? Let's find out. So, oops. Okay, you can't use regular pumpkins. You can use jack-o'-lanterns, though. If we shear this, does it work? It does. Okay. So this is, I can't tell if it's waxed or not. New debug screen. You fail me in so many ways. I like it being customizable. I don't like, I wish you could turn stuff off because I'm used to having everything and I used 80 to 90% of it. And I'm probably in the minority. But can I just turn everything on? Yes. Okay. Okay. Everything's moved now, which is really weird. But, copper chest, copper chest. Okay. Exposed copper, weathered copper, oxidized, waxed. So it doesn't keep the state of the wax. I guess I could have just tried to put honeycomb on it to see. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, it doesn't keep the state whether it's waxed or not. You can also wax the copper golems to prevent them from oxidizing. What is this guy doing? I don't think that's intentional behavior. So, yeah, it definitely should keep the state, depending on whether the block you placed down was waxed or not, in my opinion. That's very strange that it doesn't. So if you don't know what these guys do, you can, once you spawn one in, they will take items out of the copper chest and put them in nearby chests with that item in it. So if I go ahead and do that, you will see that he takes out the oxidized copper. Where did he just put that? I don't know. I don't know why he just put it underneath his butt, but we'll just pretend we didn't see that. So it looks like they carry 16 at a time, hey? Is that right? Yeah, there's definitely some issues as to how they hold the items. So then he checks it again, and there are no more items. So I feel like they should have... Why is this one stuck open? All right, there's definitely some bugs with this. I don't really expect it to work perfectly quite yet. And how much does it take to kill them? I'm actually curious. Okay, not too much. And they do flee. Okay, that's... I wasn't expecting that. I don't think snow golems do. Oh, if they're in a chest, they don't take knockback. Interesting. Okay. All right, so a couple things to note is you can actually craft the copper chest by placing copper ingots surrounding a chest. And also, the copper golem will oxidize over time. Once he gets to the maximum oxidation state, you can... he'll harden into a copper golem statue, and then you can scrape off the oxidation, and you can leave him here. However, you can do it again and bring him back to life. Does it actually need to be an axe, or can you just right-click to bring him back to life? Nope, you actually... that changes their positioning. Okay. And then these, I think, also oxidize over time. But yeah, you can honeycomb them to stop them from oxidizing further. You can change their states by right-clicking. I thought you could change it with redstone, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So, unless they output a redstone signal? Oh, that's what it is. Okay, they output a redstone signal based on which position they're in, hey? So this is... where do I find it? Power 1, Power 2, Power 3, Power 4. I like that. That's cool. You can trigger things with this by doing something like this. Have like a wall there. And then you could have like something secret go on in the background just by changing the state of your decorative statue. I wish you could let them hold something. That would be cool. I couldn't... yeah, there's no... doesn't seem to be a way to let you hold them. And additionally, if they do fully oxidize while... they're a bit loud. I hope their sounds get turned down just a little bit. If they do fully oxidize while they're holding an item, they will drop it. So just be aware of that. Also, the model of that looks very large compared to other blocks. So I don't know if that's intended. So additionally, lightning rods will now oxidize over time, and you can wax them now. And I have no idea whether their effectiveness will be affected at all by whether they're oxidized. It'd be kind of cool if like these have a range of like 32 blocks, but... oh, I thought that was snow logged for a second. I was like, I didn't know they added that. And then like these had a range of like 256 or something like that, and each time it oxidized, it halved or whatever. I think that would be pretty cool. So in peaceful mode, you could previously spawn mobs, and it appears to still happen, but I think if you use the summon command, if we do this, yep, there it goes. Monster cannot be summoned in peaceful difficulty. Of course, it for some reason doesn't affect spawn eggs, as you can see. But yeah. Oh, okay, so it actually says disabled in peaceful on the spawn eggs, but you can still... you could still spawn them, and they appear for, like, a split second. That's interesting. I don't know why it says that, but then it still lets you spawn them. I wonder if that's a bug. Also, spawn chunks were removed in this snapshot, which is, like, why? Because I don't think that really did anything bad, except maybe cause a mild amount of lag, but there was a game rule to just shut them off entirely, so I don't understand why they needed to be removed. Additionally, there are also new textures for dyes. What do you guys think of these? I personally like that they're all unique. However, I'm not so sure of, like, why do they have this, like, paper or this, like, lining underneath them? I think that looks really strange. The happy gas can now be heard from further away, which is something I actually was hoping they would add, so I'm very happy they did. So to go along with the copper set, there's now copper horse armor as well as copper nuggets, which can be obtained from smelting any of the copper equipment in a furnace. And if you get 9 copper nuggets, you can craft them into a copper ingot. I don't know why you would do that, because it's not like copper is that valuable, but who am I to judge? Alright, so overall, here are my current thoughts on the copper golem. I really like it as is. Oh, you can de-wax him by... right-clicking on him with the axe. I really like him as is. However, the couple things I would change is when you start out with a waxed block of copper, which I thought I had one of. If you spawn in a copper golem with that, then you should get, at the very least, a waxed copper chest. If not, also a waxed copper golem to start out with, instead of having to re-wax both things, because that is kind of silly. The other thing is they are so loud, and you can hear them from so far away. And I think that they should be kind of like pistons, where if you get a certain distance away, you just don't hear them. I think that would be really great for... I mean, I guess everything is like that in the game, but I think the attenuation distance should be turned down on the copper golems. So I just checked, it's actually the chests that make all the noise. So instead, maybe instead of making the copper golems quieter, make it so the chests are like pistons, in that if you're outside of the 8 blocks or whatever, they just don't make a sound for you. Well, anyways, guys, that is about it for this one. I will see you guys in the next one. Have yourselves a great day, and goodbye!